Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're going to take a look at the Inno Aero roof rack, and we're going to see how it fits and how it installs on our 2025 Ford Bronco Sport. Now, whenever we're out on a trip or an adventure in our Bronco Sport, we might find ourselves in a situation where we've got some gear, some stuff that either won't fit in the Bronco Sport with us and our passengers, or it's just something we don't want riding in the vehicle with us. And a roof rack is going to be a great way to transport those kind of items. You can put things like cargo baskets and cargo boxes, along with things like bike carriers, kayak carriers, other water sport carriers. There are all sorts of different accessories that can go up on your roof. And frankly, I think the roof rack is a better way to transport a lot of things than, say, using the hitch, in which case you'd have a roof box, or not a roof box, but a cargo box or basket back there, or you're even hauling a trailer. That just gives you a bigger footprint, can make it a little bit more difficult to maneuver and park. So this is an Aero style crossbar. It means it has this kind of ovular shape. This is going to be a lot more aerodynamic than your round or square bars. You're not going to get as much road vibration or as much noise out of these as those other bars, so it's nice to have something up here that's going to keep it a little bit quieter for you. It's an overhanging style, which means that we're going to have some of the crossbar coming out beyond our tower here. Now, Inno is very much into just kind of looking symmetrical. So rather than getting bars in the front and in the back that are the same length, we've got a 54-inch bar on the front and a 51-inch bar on the back. It's got an equal amount of overhang on each of them, so it looks symmetrical. But the truth is, you're kind of limited to the bar space of the smaller one, which is our 51-inch bar. Now, we do have some overhang on this, so if you were going to transport something and use the overhang with the clamps or with the T-track up top, you'll have the room to do that. So you can use your clamp-mounted accessories on here, and if you remove the end cap, there is a push-down weather strip that's going to allow you access to the T-slot up top, so you could put things up here as well. So let's take a look at how it fits on the roof of our Bronco Sport. Now, the Bronco Sport's a little bit unique in that it has this kind of little, it raises up here. So we're going to have two different measurements as far as space underneath the bar. But the first thing that I want to take a look at is our crossbar spread. So I'm going to measure from the middle of one bar to the middle of the other, and we're at just under 30 inches. And that to me is kind of a perfect spread. Every rooftop accessory has a minimum and a maximum crossbar spread that you can have your roof rack at in order to use that accessory. And at 30 inches, that puts us right in the middle of everything. So I'm not too afraid of coming across any accessories that I won't be able to use with this spread. Now, when it comes to the installation, which we'll be showing you momentarily, this rail up here kind of gives us a lot of freedom as far as where we can move our bars. So we can move them closer together if we really wanted to. We could even move them further apart. But like I said, at 30 inches, I think it's just about perfect. The other great thing about this location is that the middle of the bars ends up right in the middle of our second row door threshold, which means I wouldn't need to bring a ladder or a stool with me if I didn't want to. I should be able to pop open that second row door, stand up in the threshold, and I'll find myself right in between the bars. And that's perfect because any of that cargo that I'm messing with up here is going to be really easy to reach when you're right in the middle of the bars like this. Now, I'm also going to take a measurement of just how much height this is adding to the vehicle. We're going to be adding about 3 3/4 inches to the top of the vehicle. Now, we've got this antenna back here toward the back that we would have to be conscious of if we're going to be carrying something up here that's going to stretch out back beyond it. That antenna does definitely come up higher than our bar, but if you remove the antenna, if you unscrew it and remove it, the antenna is not actually taller than the top of our bar, so anything you carry up here accessory-wise should be able to clear that without any issue. And underneath the bar, we're going to have a total space of about 2.5 inches on the back bar and about 3.5 inches on the front bar. More than enough room for any of those clamp-mounted accessories to be able to reach around and get in there. So that's really kind of it as far as the fit goes up here. I think this is a really great setup right where we have it. Stick around, we're going to show you exactly how we got these on the roof of our Bronco Sport. Now the 51-inch bar is going to go to the rear. The 54-inch bar will be up at the front. And we're going to start our installation by attaching the towers onto our crossbar. And that's a really simple process. One of the things I really like most about Inno is just how easy they make it to do installations. So on the bottom side of the bar, we're going to notice this tab that slides back and forth. I'm going to depress this little button right here, and we're going to slide that all the way under. Now we'll have a cavity here and a larger cavity here. And what that is going to be for are these two tabs here on the tower. We're going to line it up so that this one goes in here and the rest of it with this block goes right in here. Once we fit that in, all we're going to do is slide it over and it'll lock in place. We're going to do the same thing with our other tower before getting it up on the roof. And our next step is going to be getting it on our roof. And what I'm going to try to do over on the other side of the car is to get this rubber strap to go underneath my rail with the rest of the tower going over the top of it. So we'll see if we can sneak that over. There we go, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of cushion the tower just to be seated pretty well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this so that I've got it moved as far forward on this section as I can. Now, we're going to find out just what kind of crossbar spread that's going to give us. I think it should be a pretty good one. But the important thing is you can really set your crossbars kind of wherever you want to. The important thing to understand is that you need these towers to be directly across from one another. So if you're not going to do what I'm doing, which is kind of setting it as far forward as I can, pick an anchor point, like maybe the seam right here, measure how far back it is. If this is 1.5 inches, if I'm going to set it right here, I'd want to go to the other side and make sure that's 1.5 inches the same way. That way, if we do that on all of our towers, we'll make sure that they are directly across from each other and that our crossbars are going to be parallel. Once I got them in position, I'm going to go ahead and take my rubber strap underneath. There's a bar in here that's just going to sit in this little cradle section. So I'm just going to pop that into place right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my bar. So this is going to slide back and forth. What I'm going to do is get a measurement. I'm going to make sure that this has an equal measurement on both the driver and the passenger side. That way our overhang is going to be equal. So I'm going to grab my tape and I'm going to measure from here to here, and I'm going to adjust it back and forth as I need to until that section is even on both sides. So now with my towers and crossbars right where I want them, we're going to go ahead and get everything tightened down. And we're going to do that using this little tab right here. We're just going to turn this clockwise. Now as I'm doing this, it's doing two things. One, it's tightening this strap underneath the rail. The other thing it's doing is tightening our crossbar down to our tower. So everything is going to be anchored in place. One of the things that I do recommend though is that you don't tighten down either the driver or the passenger side completely. I've just given this about 5 or 6 good turns. I'm going to go over to the passenger side and do the same thing, and I'm going to get this tightened down incrementally. I've seen it happen where you tighten one side down while the other side is loose and it kind of knocks it out of place and you're kind of starting all over. So if you just tighten a little bit at a time back and forth, you'll end up with a good situation. And once you get it tight enough, just however you're tightening it, make sure that that last turn you're able to lay this flat. So if you get it past this, you need to loosen it up a little more to get it flat, so be it. We're in a good situation here. It's not going anywhere. Nothing's moving back and forth. Now it's time to put our tower cover on. And another one of the things that I really like about Inno, other than it's just ease of installation, is the fact that you do get metal cores for your locks along with keys. There are a lot of roof racks out there where you don't get metal lock cores with the roof rack. You have to add them on later. So the fact that these are going to come with them is fantastic. And then once you get those tower covers on, your installation is complete. The back bar goes on exactly the same way as the front, And again, these are really easy to put on and take off, which is important because if you're going to run your Bronco Sport through, say, an automatic car wash, you really don't want the roof rack on while you do that. So the fact that these can be put on and taken off so easily is a huge plus. So that's really it for the installation. Inno is very, very easy to set up and take down when necessary. And after installation, you know, we had mentioned earlier the placement. I think that's perfect. The overhang does not come out too far past the door threshold. I'm not really worried about head clearance with this at all either. And it's important to keep in mind too that this roof rack does have a weight capacity of 165 pounds. However, it's always important that you double check your owner's manual for your vehicle rooftop capacity. Whatever number is lower is going to be the weight capacity that you're going to have to stay under. But if you've got any questions about this roof rack, or if you've purchased it and used it and you've got some experiences to share, please leave those questions and those stories in the comments below. Sharing them with other neighbors just like you can help them to make the best decision for themselves. Once again, this is Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.